The FV432 is the armoured personnel carrier variant of the British Army's FV430 series of armoured fighting vehicles. Since its introduction in the 1960s, it has been the most common variant, being used for transporting infantry on the battlefield. In the 1980s, almost 2,500 vehicles were in use, with around 1,500 now remaining in operation, mostly in supporting arms rather than frontline infantry service. Although the FV432 series was to have been phased out of service in favour of newer vehicles, such as the Warrior and the CVR-T series, they are now gradually being upgraded to extend their service into the next decade. In light of the Army's need for additional armoured vehicles in the Afghan and Iraqi theatres, the Ministry of Defence announced in August 2006 that an extra 70 vehicles would be upgraded by BAE Systems in addition to the 54 already ordered as part of their Force Protection Initiative. The improvements take the form of an engine upgrade, a new steering unit and a new braking system, as well as improvement in armour protection to a level similar to that of the Warrior. In addition, plates lined with Kevlar have been added to the bottom hull. This is intended to provide better protection against improvised explosive devices. It is intended that these FV432s will free up the Warrior vehicles for provision of reserve firepower status and/or rotation out of theatre. The updated version is called the Bulldog. History: the FV432 was designed to be the armoured personnel carrier in the FV430 series. Production started in 1962 by GKN Sankey and ended in 1971, after constructing approximately 3,000 vehicles. The FV432 is of all-steel construction. The chassis is a conventional track design with the engine at the front and the driving position to the right. Directly behind the driver's position is the vehicle commander's hatch. There is a large round opening in the passenger compartment roof, which has a split hatch, and a side hinge door in the rear for loading and unloading. As in many designs of its era, there are no firing ports for the troops carried. British Army doctrine has always been to dismount from vehicles to fight, unlike Russian infantry fighting vehicles that largely incorporate ports. The passenger compartment has 5 seats on either side, these fold up to provide a flat cargo space. An NBC system on the right side of the hull gives fresh air for the troops. Wading screens and a trim vane were fitted as standard and an extension went on the exhaust pipe. The vehicle has a water speed of about 6 km per hour when converted for swimming and was propelled by its tracks. Most of these vehicles have had their amphibious capability removed. FV432s in service with infantry battalions are equipped with a pintle-mounted L7 GPMG. Vehicles with the Royal Artillery, Royal Engineers and Royal Signals were originally fitted with the L4A4 variant of the Bren light machine gun, but they now use the GPMG. When equipped with the GPMG, the vehicle carries 1,600 rounds of belted 7.62 mm ammunition. When carrying the Bren LMG, the vehicle carried 1,400 rounds of 7.62 mm ammunition. There are 2 3-barrel smoke dischargers at the front. A number of surplus vehicles were sold to the Indian Army after being withdrawn from British service. Many FV432s are privately owned in the UK due to the relatively low price for which they can be bought. Variants: the FV432 has been produced in 3 major variants, the Mark I with petrol engines, the Mark II with a Rolls-Royce K60 multi-fuel engine and the Mark III with a diesel engine. The Mark II minor variant, the 2/1, has its NBC pack flush with the hull side. An up-armoured variant, for use in Iraq and Afghanistan, of the Mark III was known as Bulldog. This name now appears to be extended to all Mark III versions of the FV432. The FV432 has proven to be flexible in use and can be converted from one role to another with reasonable ease using installation kits, or more permanently with minor modifications to the hull. Major or more significant modifications have usually led to a new FV43N number. In addition to the normal armoured personnel carrier role, it has been used as a command vehicle, with 7 crew, 2 mapboards and extra communications equipment, an ambulance, with spots for up to 4 stretchers or 2 stretcher and 5-seated patients, and like all other variants fitted for GMPG on the commander's hatch. A cargo carrier, for up to 3,600 kilograms, a communications vehicle, a recovery vehicle. Designated as the FV434, it includes a rear cutout to a pickup truck box to carry a spare engine, other stores with tool store below, an internally mounted winch, and a 2.5-ton lift arm. Frequently equipped with a canvas penthouse. FV432s used by combat infantry units have also been equipped with the Wombat recoilless rifle, an 84mm infantry gun mounted with a bar across the top of the troop compartment. An 81mm mortar on a turntable in the rear of the hull can be traversed through 360° firing through the roof hatch. 160 mortar bombs are carried. Crew consists of a driver, commander and 4 men. The peak engineering turret with the L37A1 variant of the 7.62mm GPMG, replacing the roof hatch. A 30mm rad and gun-equipped turret, a night surveillance ZB-298 radar, stowage for Milan anti-tank missiles when used to carry 2 missile teams. FV432s used by the Royal Artillery have been equipped with a battery command post with FACE fire control computer, a battery command post with Bates battlefield artillery target engagement system, Simuline mortar locating radar, sound ranging equipment, observation post vehicle ZB-298 radar. FV432s used by the Royal Engineers have been equipped with a towed lair for L-mine anti-tank bar mine, a launcher for L-10 Ranger anti-personnel mine, a towed Giant Viper mine clearing system, a Thales Group Swarm remote weapon system, British Army nomenclature, FV431 armoured load carrier, 1 prototype produced, Alvis Stalwart 6x6 vehicle selected instead for load carrier role. FV432 armoured personnel carrier, FV433 field artillery, self-propelled Abbott 105mm self-propelled gun built by Vickers, FV434 carrier, maintenance, full tractor EME maintenance carrier with a crew of 4 on a hydraulically driven crane with a lifting capacity of 3,050 kilograms, FV435 Avial communications vehicle, FV436 command and control, some fitted with Green Archer radar, later Simuline radar, FV437 Pathfinder vehicle, based on an FV432 with integral buoyancy and other water jets, prototyped only. FV438 Swingfire, guided missile launcher, FV439 signals vehicle, many variants. Bulldog equals. The need to upgrade the FV432 to extend its service life further led the mod to sign an £85 million contract with BAE Systems Land Systems to update over 1,000 FV432s to Mark III standard. Major changes include a new diesel engine and braking system. Initially, only FV432 and 434 models were converted, but other variants are being considered. The first 500 of the batch were handed over to the British Army in December 2006. For service in Iraq and Afghanistan, air conditioning, enhanced reactive armor and IED jammers have been added. Initially, only these further enhanced versions were known by the name Bulldog. But the term now appears to be applied to all Mark III vehicles. Popular culture. Some privately owned FV432s have been modified to resemble World War II vehicles for films and reenactment. At least one FV432, which had been modified to look like a Sturmgeschütz 1/4 TZ3, appeared in the television mini-series Band of Brothers. Another privately owned FV432 in the south of England is being used for war games and military simulations by Ground Zero Airsoft. Around 20 privately owned 432s are being used at Armoured in the East Midlands for experience activities including tank paintball, where the modified vehicles are used in battle together using ping-pong-sized paintballs. One FV432 was modified on commission from THQ to look like a Rhino tank from Games Workshop's tabletop game Warhammer 40,000, as part of a marketing campaign for the computer game Dawn of War 2. See also, M113, a visually similar American-built armored personnel carrier, MTLB, BTR-50, list of FV series military vehicles, MLVM. Bibliography: Howard, Les. Winter Warriors, Across Bosnia with the PBI, ISBN 978-1-84624-077-5 Critical account of a British Army peacekeeper operating from FV432s at the end of the Bosnian Civil War. References. External links: Sloppy Jalopy, armorforces.co.uk.